There we go. Okay, so welcome everybody to 40 and 40 Boot Camp. We've never done anything quite like this before. Typically when we do trainings that have to do with earning 40%, we usually go over a period of weeks. We'll take one little chunk at a time. But I've sort of condensed a lot of this into key bullet points. And I think by the time we get to the end of our hour together or so, hopefully you're going to have a sense of what it takes logistically to get to earning 40% on your own personal income, the mindset that it requires, and then the actions that it will take. And none of this is difficult. This is all something that anyone who's willing to try a thing or two can accomplish. And so I want to congratulate you. This is a really exciting presentation. I love this content, and this is one of my favorite topics to talk about. So hopefully you'll come away with something that you really value in all of this. Some of you I haven't met or haven't really had a chance to, I know who you all are, but I've probably not had a chance to work with many of you. And so I'm Betsey and I live in Northern Virginia. I've been with the company since the very beginning. I'm a senior executive director, so I've seen a lot over the last number of years, and I'm especially excited now because I feel like our company is stronger, more robust, more versatile than ever before. I think our jewelry is better than ever before. I think our programs are better than ever before. And I think our business opportunity is way better than it's ever been, in fact, because of the capabilities that we've created for ourselves over the last 7 or 8 months. And so I wanted to give you all a chance to learn what it looks like to increase your income. And so what I want to do is start first by sharing my screen. And so I apologize. It's going to take me a quick second here as I do that. Okay, can you see where it says Zoom phone is expanding your reach, all that stuff? Okay, great. You can see that. So what I would like to touch on first is, see if I can find this. We have an awful lot of really great training tools. I don't know if you all have ever been into the back office to look under business basics and the training tools and things like that, but I'm going to show you where I find all the materials that I'm going to use tonight. And so what I'm going to start with is future leader training. I don't know if people who are not leaders can see all of this, but if something catches your eye that you really want to get your hands on, we can give all of this to you. It's because it might be something that you want for future reference. It might be something that you want to use for talking to people about the business. So what we're going to start with is, what does it look like to increase your income? I'm using bits and pieces of a program that they created a couple years ago. And we used to run it. It's called the Sparkle Up program. We used to run it over 5 weeks. And I'm not doing anything like that with you guys. I just want to use one key component in here. This is my favorite quote. You can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. And that's from Zig Ziglar. That's my guide. It's one of my main guiding forces in this business. And you're going to start to see a thread that it isn't about me. It's actually far more about everybody else than it is about me. And so typically when I think about this, this first part, you can have everything in life that you want, is way less important than if you will just help other people get what they want. That's really the key in all of this. But the neat thing is that in doing so, by helping people get what they want, you're going to get a lot of what you want too. So I want to talk about, what is it that you want and how can we get it? Well, let's assume that for the sake of argument that you're here because you want to increase your income. So there are 4 ways to make that happen with the way Touchstone operates its commission program. The first is, of course, we always earn 25% on our sales, right? And in any month, we can just up our game and sell $1,800 and get that 5% personal sales bonus for a 30% commission. So that's something that anybody can do. Most of you probably are aware of that. Some of you are brand new and haven't had an opportunity to do that yet, but that's the first way to increase your income. The second way is to sponsor your first team member. Some of you have already done that. And that might be why you're here, is because maybe you got lucky, somebody joined your team, and you're thinking, oh, well, I've got one, maybe I can keep going. And so here's what this actually looks like. When you have your first team member, as long as you have sold $500, PSV means personal sales volume, as long as you sell $500 in a particular month, you'll earn your 25 or 30% commission, and you'll earn a 3% personal sponsoring bonus on your team member. Second, so that's the second way to earn income, extra income. The third way to earn extra income is to sponsor that second person. So now you've got two people, and we're going to talk about what PSAQ is when we get to the third, the last component. So once you have two people on your team, as long as you sell $500, you will earn 4% on both of those team members, and of course your original 25 or 30% commission. Okay, so that's pretty nice. Now, so key consultant 2 is the last step before what they call a group leader. I don't want the words group leader to conjure anything in your brain, because then I know you're thinking, well, I can't lead anybody, I don't even know what I'm doing. But you got to understand that there are steps along the way that will teach you plenty more than you would ever need in order to help bring new team members on. And so I don't want you to feel like you're alone in this. This is something that we do with you. And so the word leader is not a scary word in our company. We don't suddenly turn you loose and they're all on you. So the fourth way to increase your income is very exciting, and because it is such a leap. And basically what it says is, when you have 3 people on your team, remember we talked about 1, we talked about 2, now we're talking about 3. 3 on your team, you're going to earn 9% on those team members and 40% on yours. Those are the key characteristics to remember. These other numbers, one day when it's you, we can explain to you leader commission, central group bonus, but all you have to care about right now is you're going to earn 40% on your personal sales volume and 9% on those team members that you sponsored. So think about it. Let's say you go out the door and you do a $1,000 party, or on Zoom or wherever, and it's your only party that month. So you've just earned $250 on that party, right? 25%. But if you're a group leader, you will have earned $400 on that party instead of $250. Obviously, if that party was a part of an $1,800 plus month, you would have earned $300. But that $400 paycheck on a $1,000 party comes as group leader. So there are a couple of requirements in this. So this is where you want to get your pen and paper, because we have to pay attention to the P's and to the T's and C's on this one. T's and C's meaning terms and conditions, not touchdown crystal. So 3 PSAQs. PSAQ stands for personally sponsored, qualified, we got it up here, personally sponsored by you, PS, active, and qualified. Active means that they've sold $1 within 3 months. So let's say it's November, you sold something last month, it's November, and if you go November, December, and January and you sell nothing, you will no longer be active in February because you didn't sell at least $1 within those 3 months. Okay, does that make sense? So active is you sold at least no, we don't have anything that's $1 really. So let's pretend it's $6, which is probably the least expensive thing that we have, which is an extension chain. So let's say you get to the end of the 3 months, and on the last day of the 3 months, you sell a $6 extension chain, you go right back to staying active again, and your 3 months starts ticking down all over again. That's how simple it is for your team members to stay active. They come in active. They come in assuming that they're active, and they roll down for 3 months until they go inactive, until they sell, unless they sell $1. So active is a piece of this. And the last part is the qualified piece. This is totally different from personally sponsored or active. So qualified means they sold $500 in a single month at some point. It doesn't have to be the first month, but ideally it's the first month. Consider there are some special things that happen to them when they become qualified in their first month. For example, it means that the following month they have access to everything in the catalog at half price, right? Because that's called Active Plus. Did you guys know that? When you sell $500 or more in any month, the next month you have access to everything in the catalog at 50% off. And so do they, but that's called qualified. So ideally we get them qualified in their first month in business, showing them that they can make money, they can pay off their kit, and they can also get 50% off everything in the catalog, right? It's a perpetual benefit to having done that. That is a renewable each month, that A+ status with the 50% off discount. Now, qualified, like I said, only has to happen one time. So a person can become a PSAQ and stay a PSAQ as long as she sells $1 every third month, right? Well, here's what happens. So now we go back down away from our description and we come back down to what group leader looks like. So 3 of those people, your minimum now jumps up. Instead of $500 in sales that month, it's $1,200 in sales that month. So how many parties is that? Well, on average, it's less than 2 per month, okay? And then we have 2 other requirements. $3,500 central group. So your central group is you and your PSAQs and anybody else that they bring in. I'll show you an example of that in a minute. And the 4th requirement is that 1,000 of that $3,500 has to come from your team. In other words, you can't just have 3 PSAQs. You sell off $3,500 and they have no requirement, no sales requirement. Somewhere from your central group, you have to have $1,000. But the cool thing is, once you get all those little stars to align, you've got 40% on your own sales and 9% on them. Here's what else is cool. This is the same example, but now one of them has her own team member. Well, you're going to be earning 5% on everything she sells as a group leader as well. And let's pretend, there's another example down here. We're not going to go through all of these. Here we go. Here's what a central group can also look like. All the green ones are the people that you've sponsored personally, and all the blue ones are the ones that they've sponsored. So you're earning 9% on all of the green people, and you're earning 5% on all of the blue ones, okay? So this is what group leader can actually look like. And that income can really add up. But the minimum is what I was showing you. Okay, so I'm going to break away from this and stop my screen sharing. And let's talk about this for just a minute. Okay, what questions do you have about this? Let's air it all out so that it's super clear about what this 40% requires and how you get to it. What questions do you have? It's okay to ask. You just have to unmute.
I'll speak up first. I don't really have any questions. It's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
So I'm just quiet because there's not many questions. So
Good.
Thumbs up.
Okay, cool. Who else? Thank you, Christy. That's great. What other questions? There aren't any dumb questions. This is not easy the first time somebody sees it.
I have a question.
Sure.
Okay. What happens if you sponsor somebody and they in turn sponsor like 3 other people, and the original person that you sponsored decides that they're not going to do it anymore?
Right. That's a great question. So she wouldn't, if you are a group leader in this case, then if she's not a PSAQ of yours any longer, you would need to at least minimally replace her, because her team members do not roll up and become a PSAQ. They always stay at that 5% payout level. They don't bump up and take that original sponsor's place as a PSAQ. Is that what you were thinking about? Okay. Liz, did you have something to add to that?
Only that you would still want to treat, like, just because somebody else brought them in, if they're in your group, you're still their leader, right? So if the person in between goes away, you want to strengthen that relationship with those people because
Definitely.
now you are their next person up.
Definitely, right. You have the privilege of working with them even more closely, right? Great point. Okay. What else? PSAQ, active, qualified. Any questions about that? Okay. All right. And we can come back to it too, and you can always ask offline as well. So that's the basis of where 40% comes from. Our goal is to give you some tools over the next little bit here to help you get to 40% within the next 40 days. So that puts us toward around December 10th or so. And the last day for shipping for the holidays is December 17th. And so, the thinking is that most team building is probably going to be pretty well set by December 10th. So that's why we said 40 and 40 plus is cute. So I want to open it up on the floor here for just a minute. And I want to ask you, each of you, think back to when you started and what that felt like. And why did you start? Just give a quick popcorn answer, each one of you. Maybe, if it's a couple things, give us 10 seconds worth. Why did you each start? I'd like to hear from everybody if possible.
I started because I love the jewelry. I love playing with jewelry, and I had a lady at my launch party who wanted to sign up right away. So I was super excited about it. I tell everyone this is my fun job. What I do, what I do for a living right now is not my fun job. This is my fun job.
Right.
I'm wanting to swap those two.
Right. Good. Okay. So jewelry and fun. Okay. Thanks, Gigi. Who else?
Okay, I'll do mine. Two reasons, actually. The first one was I was able to work from home because I'm in business with my husband, and I wanted to do something to supplement income, which is, like a good thing. But in all reality, honestly, because I can do this online, because I am more online, I reach out to more people. I have friends all over the country. And when that option came available, when I was talking to Marissa, I'm like, I'm going to try it. And I thought, I don't know if it's going to work, but I said, you know what, I'm going to go for it. And online has been like the best experience.
And then she sells $10,000 in 3 months. I mean, whatever. She's going to try it.
This is why I say we are stronger and better than ever before as a company. And it's because we have this capability. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'll jump on since I'm already on.
Okay, go.
I started almost 6 years ago because I needed a break from my 17 children.
Yes.
Yes. So I'm kidding. I don't have 17 children, but I have almost
17.
I swear.
I just accuse her of that. That's all.
Yeah. I started when I had 4 and I have 5 now, and I'm done. But I really needed like something for me and something to help with family finances. So it was, my way of not turning into mommy dearest and my way to help the family, stay afloat. So, yeah.
That's good. Okay. Who else? Thank you. You can also type in the chat if you want to. Go ahead, Amy.
Sure, I'll go. Honestly, because it brought me some joy and happiness in the middle of a pandemic. In all seriousness, it's when I had been invited to a friend's party and I saw how excited people were about it and it was making them happy. This was like back in May when everybody was really, really miserable because their kids were all home from school, including mine. And it made everybody happy. And when I got my stuff, it made me happy too. And I was like, all right, there's something there. And the joy has continued. So I'm there for it.
Oh, good. You have the perfect name for our to be in our company.
I try.
You sure it's not your stage name?
It was actually my grandmother's name. There's a story. There's a story. I'll tell you one day.
Okay, I want to hear it. Thank you.
Okay.
Who's next? And you all can type in the chat if you'd rather do that than actually talk. But
So
those-
I'd have to echo that. It was about happy in a time where it was really stressful. And same, I got invited to a party. I've been a huge Swarovski crystal girl for years and years. Got invited to the party, looked at the product. I was like, all right, well, I gotta touch it and feel it before I can like dive in, because I know what my expectations of quality are. And I got my jewelry, and then immediately I ordered the kit. And I was like, I had friends that were like, hey, I'll do a party. And I was like, well, let's see what happens. And now somebody else said it too. It's my fun work. It's my fun job. And this is a really stressful time. I think if you can have 10 minutes, 5 minutes, an hour a day to spend to yourself and look at this gorgeous jewelry, it just makes you smile.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Thank you. Who else?
Okay, so hi. I switched my camera, so I'm trying to duck so you can see me. I joined actually twice. The first time I joined was mainly because it was a great deal for the kit, because I love the jewelry, and there was a piece that I wanted, and the whole kit was about the same price as that one piece, and it was in there. And I was like, why not, right? It sounds like fun. And what didn't really go because I didn't really have the time to devote to it, and I wasn't really necessarily invested in it as a business. I had been doing Unique for about a year at that point, and then so I kind of went inactive just because I didn't have the time to devote, and in-home parties weren't really my thing because I was busy all the time. And then about a year later, Liz was like, hey, you seem to really like it, you enjoyed it, and it was a great way to meet people. I love the people that I meet and the community that's part of the sisterhood of the Sparkle Sisters. Like, our team is amazing, and that aspect of it is great because I work with kids all day, and I'm I don't have adult interaction, so trying to meet people and make friends is kind of tricky, like when you aren't really in a place where there are people that like the same things as you, and that sort of thing. So that's why I joined the second time, and also to get a little bit of extra money because I want to go back to grad school eventually for my PhD, and my working 3 different part-time jobs as an OT, and all the other stuff I had going on wasn't cutting it. So and now switching to online, because I was already doing online stuff before all the resources were available for online, just because for me and making things work for my business, that was the best that I was working with. So it's been great.
Awesome. Love it. Thanks, Gretchen. Sharon said she joined because she loves the jewelry, needed a hobby. Andrea wants in-house parties. Yeah, because that's her background, and she hasn't gotten a chance to do that, but that's what she loves the most. Annie said interaction with other adults because I'm obsessed with my kids, and he may have been right. And it's fun while making income. Amanda, real opportunity and possibilities. Carrie, making money, fun and awesome. Lori loves meeting and helping other women, and she really does. Who else? I love these.
I'll go.
Okay, Tammy.
So Lori brought this opportunity to me because she's my husband's cousin.
Mm-hmm.
And as I had done independent sales before and really enjoyed it, and had to stop for a while because I was in a situation where I was the primary. I mean, there was nobody to help me out with the kids and so forth when they were younger. And then they got a little older, family moved close. I had the opportunity to get back out there and do stuff. I've always loved jewelry. I've always loved things like that. So she brought it to me and I'm like, this is perfect. And I'm hoping that it's already paying for a lot of my kids' opportunities as far as sports and things like that. And some of my little guilty pleasures, but I'm also hoping that in the near future, it will be bringing my husband where he doesn't have to travel as much. It's already started, but I want it more that he doesn't have to travel much at all and be home, and we can go that route. So it's on a roll, and I'm loving it.
Yay, good. Who else? Let's take just another minute or two.
Betsy.
Wendy.
For me, I fell in love with the ice bracelet, the crystal, the white ice bracelet. My girlfriend had it on her dresser and it didn't fit her. And so she had left it in the bedroom for me. So I wore it for a week when I was there visiting and pretty much fell in love with it. It had always loved jewelry. And so for me, it was kind of a no-brainer. If I could wear it and have fun with it, I say all the time, sparkle makes me happy. So I decided to jump in.
That's great. Who else? Thank you. And I'm so glad you did, Wendy.
Thank you, Betsy.
Yes, ma'am. Anybody else want to share? Okay. All right. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. You know, I love hearing all of this, and I want to affirm each one of you for all the different reasons that you came to us. I just think that the diversity is fun, and everyone has a different why. And I'm betting that if you've been with us for a little while, your reasons for staying are a whole lot longer than your original reasons for coming in, right? So that's a lot of fun. So here's a second question. So the first question was, why did you start? Second question, having heard what everyone has said, all the different reasons that people come in to Touchstone Crystal, what keeps us, you, me, anybody, from offering this to everyone that we do business with? What kinds of things keep us from offering this? Time to be a little transparent here. I know for me, I will prejudge. And I'll think, no, I don't think she would want this. Anybody else thought?
Yeah, nobody wants to be rejected.
So it's the rejection factor. Mm-hmm.
It is for me.
Fear of rejection. Okay. What else?
I'd have to say time.
In what way? Mm-hmm.
So I think for me, there's probably two. When I came on board, and I had no envisions whatsoever of growing a business, having people underneath me.
Right.
It just wasn't even in my mental wheelhouse.
Yeah, that's normal.
So when I look back, it's time. It's taking the time to talk to everyone individually, you know, balancing this and jobs. And I'm only 2.5 months in, 3 months in, you know, I had a really busy 2 months. So looking back now, I probably need to go back and spend time.
Okay. So Amy says, can feel like an awkward ask when it's not your main focus. Kind of like you don't quite know what to say. Is that what you mean, Amy? Like you're not really in practice, that kind of thing?
No, I think it's more like because I've been so focused on just building and getting started and figuring out my thing and what I'm doing, it hasn't necessarily been my primary focus. Like you
That
know,
makes
like,
sense.
hey, I want to build this part too. It's like, okay, I need to figure out the other stuff first before I can even get to that point. And
Okay.
I feel like I'm just at that point now. And I've finally started having some of those conversations with people. Nobody's bit yet. I know that eventually they will.
Right.
But I think because my focus has been elsewhere,
Mhm.
it has felt a little bit awkward and
Yeah.
slightly uncomfortable at times
Yeah.
because not where my head was at. My
Right.
head wasn't that direction. So if my head isn't in there, it is
Mhm.
going to feel a little bit awkward. It is going to feel a little bit uncomfortable because that's not what I personally am thinking about.
Very good
Does that
point.
make sense?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, when you're first learning the ropes, you're learning the ropes. That makes perfect sense. Yeah. And so it's understandable that somebody would say, and it's funny, I'm also reading what Andrea was saying about putting in the time to train. And other people have said to me, and I'm sure somebody's going to come up with this, which I don't know enough. I'm just getting started. I don't even know enough, right? Why would I bring somebody on that I don't even know enough? And so that's all very normal. Yeah, all of that. Learning the ropes. Yeah. I like what Anne said, finding balance between offering the opportunity and not pushing. We're going to be talking about that. I'm so glad you said that. And finding the time to train is a stressful idea. Okay. I'd like to address that first before we go any further, because what we're going to do is talk in just a moment about the mindset that I firmly believe in my heart it takes to bring people onto your team. And it may be different from what you think it is. And I'm hoping that it's something that frees you up rather than distresses you or stresses you. But as far as training, when you are a new person in the company, when you are just bringing on or you've been around a while, you're just now bringing on your first team member, your second team member, it isn't on you to train your team member. And, she might look to you for guidance to a degree, but the neat thing is that your leader is actually the one who has the privilege of working with your new team member. Because remember I showed you the central group, right? And there's the group leader at the top, and then she's got her PSAQs, right? So let's pretend you're one of the PSAQs to your leader, and you're bringing on one of those blue people or a couple of those blue people. You're not responsible for training them. The goal is to learn how that works as you're doing it or as it's all happening, but it's not what you are tasked with. It's the task of and the privilege of your own group leader to do that. The idea is that you learn. It's like everything in this business is on the job training. Everything that I've ever learned is because I learned while I was doing it. It's the same with training a team member. You watch what your group leader is doing in training you and in training your team member. And then you learn how that goes as time goes on. Theoretically, by the time you bring on your third person, you pretty much know how to start a new team member. It's never it's never something that we're 100% great at. We're always learning ways of working with new team members. But by the time you have your third, you're going to feel much more confident than you would ever feel in trying to start off your first one. It's not on you. It's your group leader's privilege to do that. So I hope that allays that concern, because we don't want that to be a stumbling block for you. Finding the time to train is that's for your group leader. Okay. So any other reasons why you might hesitate? Is there anything that we haven't covered? Any other reasons why you might hesitate in offering the business?
I'm not a leader. I can't lead people.
I'm not a leader. I can't lead people.
Right. I'm a disorganized hot mess.
That's what you kept trying to tell us that for years, Marie.
I know, right? And look at me now. I'm still disorganized and a hot mess, but.
Right.
Don't look at it as a hot mess. Look at it as a spicy disaster.
I gotta write that one down. That's cute. She's a spicy disaster. Well, clearly, hot mess or spicy disaster, it didn't matter, Marisa. So, okay. Anything else that we missed? Didn't cover? Spicy disaster, hot mess? Of why we would not offer the business.
Sorry.
Gretchen.
Hey. Yeah. I always get like worried about, it's kind of like Anne was saying with not offering the opportunity but not pushing. I always fear that I'm going to sound spammy or
Good.
like icky, and I don't want to be that person, because we all know that girl that pops up in our inboxes all the time, like, hey girl, you want to try this, and I'm just like, No, I actually just got a message like that like 5 seconds ago, and I'm like,
that's
I want
funny.
to support you, but at the same time, and so I don't want to be that person. And so it's that.
Wow.
And then if I bring up the opportunity, do I bring it up again? When do I bring it up again? Okay. Someone's like, well, I'm interested, but maybe not right now. Okay, I'll mark down, go talk to this person later. Okay. And then I, finding that fine line.
Right. Great. Absolutely. 100%. Yeah, I totally agree. Okay. These were all excellent, and I really appreciate them. So it helps to put it out there about what it is that we are afraid of, and hopefully you will hear some other ways of looking at it as we go along. We're going to be talking a little bit right now about what kinds of seeds we can plant when we're at parties, or because we don't go to parties, and so it's as much. Some people do, and some people, I'm doing half and half. But even when we're talking to a customer, when we are live on Facebook, when we are in a Zoom, there are seeds that we can plant, and we're going to be talking about those seeds in just a moment. And then we're going to talk about what do you do with those seeds. I'm going to be sharing with you a video from Lynn Conway in a couple of minutes about a simple system for getting people to talk to you about the business if they're at all interested. And then we're going to talk about, the last thing we'll talk about is the basic concepts of sponsoring, the mindset. And the first two components that I want to introduce you to before we start with planting the seeds is, the first is, it's not about me. And the second is, it's all about her. It's not about me. It's all about her. Okay, so keep those two things in mind, write them down. And because if that becomes our true mindset, it's not about me. I know all these things that all these women said about why they came to Touchstone, and they were all different. And I never know in a crowd of people who would want any one of those things, because I can't tell by watching. I don't have a crystal ball, right? So it's not about me because I have no idea. It's all about them and what they might need that I can't see. Okay, let me share my screen here. Forgive me, it's going to take me just about 10 seconds to find the document that I'm looking for. I want to show you a piece of that. Remember I told you that there's a 5-part, could they call it future leader training, sparkle up training. And the last component of it is all about sponsoring. We're not going to use most of it, but there's a piece of it that I really do like, and it has to do with the seeds that we plant. Okay, here we go. Now I can share my screen. I found what I'm looking for. All right. I almost pressed the end button. That would not have been useful. Leave it to me. It is 2020 after all, right? Stop. Okay. All right. Can y'all see my screen now? Somebody tell me yes. Marisa, nod. Okay, because I can see you most easily. All right. Some of you have been around for quite a while and do a very classic 5-part party. A lot of you are new and have not really been introduced to the kind of party that we did when we were doing live in-person shows. But in the 5-part party presentation, we had a lot of ways of dropping seeds in each of the 5 components. So like in the opening, thanking the guests for coming. It's a fun, fast, and easy party. I get to tell you about Touchstone Crystal and its relationship to Swarovski, and then you plant a seed. Watch what I do, see how easy it is. It might be a great way to earn extra income. You know, there are little seeds like that that you can offer. Some of you are doing a why story and sharing why you started with Touchstone Crystal, sort of lowering your voice, being personal in a way, brief but personal, and explain why your life is better, what you love about what you do with Touchstone Crystal. Some of you do a Q&A where basically you say, I'm going to bribe you to talk to me. But when we were doing in-person parties, we would give tickets or things to get them to ask us questions. And different ones of you have other ways of doing that. But when you can get them to ask you questions about the business, and then people have an opportunity to hear some of the answers, it usually takes a bribe, a little sparkle prize, that kind of thing. But then people can ask you questions. But, you know, regardless of that, it really is all about planting seeds in the conversation. So those are some of the classic ways that we've always done it. But planting seeds is a little bit different in the setting that we're doing. And it takes a little bit of thought. So somebody just said, I forget who said it, that I joined because the kit was the same price as a piece of jewelry that I liked, right? And I thought that was really smart, because here we go. One of the seeds that somebody might plant, just to give background about what we do, is this piece costs about the same as the starter kit, right? Or for the price of a trip to Target, you can start your own business. Talking about the incentives, things that you value about doing this. I mean, even if we're on a Zoom call, if you find a way to incorporate specific comments, like, I love getting out of the house. Well, we're not doing that. I love coming in, shutting the door to my office for an hour and having adult conversations a couple times a week, right? And so there are things that, using the stuff that you love about your experience with Touchstone, learning how to insert that into your conversations and into your parties is going to be the most authentic thing that you can do. People love to hear about other people, as long as it's not going on forever, right? Because we don't want to go on and on about ourselves, but people like to hear why somebody got started in their business if it's brief. They like to hear what keeps them in it. They like to hear where they're successful. You know, if somebody just hit a big milestone, I just finished earning my first $1,000 with the company. I'm so proud of myself. I didn't think I could ever do this. I mean, if I said that to you and I was the consultant and you were a guest, wouldn't you go, oh, well, that's really cool? Because you'd be excited for me, right? It's okay to be a little bit personal about what you really love, but just to toss in a little concept. Oh my gosh, this is my favorite piece. But you know what the best part was? That I got it for free because of the incentives. It's just such a fun thing about what I get to do. And you move on. You drop the seeds. So, examples. The best thing about all the jewelry on my table is that I earn most of it for free or at a discount. That is something that all of you can say. All of you can say. When you're showing jewelry, right, up here, you know, you're dangling it in front of the little camera, which is what we've all learned how to do. Ladies, I got to tell you, the really fun thing about all this is I earn most of this for free or discount, just so you know, right? Because they're like, well, how'd she buy all that jewelry? Or you can say, in my first month of business, I made X amount of dollars. In my first X number of months, I've been able to fill in the blank, right? Using these, making income claims is a little harder these days. These days, we don't want to do too much of that. The per hour kind of thing is a little old school. Like I said, this is a little bit older training, and the FTC has some new requirements of us. So I wouldn't make an hourly claim, but you can say how much you have made if you want to. And you could say that, you know, how much a consultant makes, 25% or 30% or 40% if you want to. Then this is another concept. I'm not as comfortable with this, the complement and benefit offer. Complement, a special quality about them that would make them a good consultant. The benefit, what specific need does the opportunity fulfill? There are some ways to use this, but again, we don't want to be that salesy, scary person where we have a formula that we use for every single person. What I want to do is show you the way that Lynn Conway suggested, and I want you to keep in mind that this is something She can't, okay, I'm gonna show you where this is located so you know. Here I am at training and tools, and I'm going down to business basics. And under business basics, our bookings, fundraising, host coaching, party presentation, I'm going to sponsoring, okay? Sponsoring, there we go. And we have a lot of different documents in here. Spark links, which is our news, Spark is our newsletter. So there are a lot of Spark links, the perfect side gig, perfect time to share, peak interest and connect, sponsoring LP+4, conversations for new consultant success, Q&A, sponsoring video, planting seeds. That's a good one right there. But what we're going to do, and I'm going to show you this outline after we're done, but I'm going to have you, we're going to watch the Lynn Conway sponsoring conversation. Now, this was created right before March. We were just getting going on coming up with a way that we would each feel comfortable bringing up the topic of the business with every customer. These days, since we don't have our customers in front of us at a party, we're sitting there doing the checkout in person, it's slightly different. So you're gonna have to imagine, and we can talk about it when we're done, but imagine where you would incorporate some of this in your conversations with a person who has just placed an order with you. What I want you to notice most is her positioning, like her posture in all of this, and see what you think of it. Okay, it's going to take, this is a pretty quick one. I think it's about 8 minutes or so.
Hello, my name is Lynn Conway, and I am so excited to be with you today to share on my...
Oops, I'm trying to make it bigger. There we go.
My favorite topic, offering others your most important product, your business opportunity. I like to call this process by something simple to remember. The eyes have it. Your job is to inform others that the business opportunity could be theirs, invite them to find out more, and interview them to see if you have a good fit. The easiest place to inform people about your business is at the party. After all, everyone came to share in a fun girls' night out, and they're relaxed and having a good time. Begin by telling your why story. Why are you a part of Touchstone Crystal?
Hey, Betsy, the audio went off when you muted yourself.
The audio went off?
Tuitions, or maybe you're paying off
second.
your own.
Okay, hang on a second.
School loans.
I'm trying to make it go smaller so I can
Perhaps
back
you
it up.
haven't been. On a
Sorry,
vacation.
ladies. I'm trying. Thank you for letting me know. Every time I click something, I end up getting her talking again. I don't want her to.
In a while, or maybe you just need some fun girls' time. Because I can't tell by looking,
stop sharing
I'm
for a
going to
second.
offer each and every one of you the chance to take a look. And then during your question and answer period,
All right, hang on a second.
listen carefully.
Okay. All right, thank you for being patient. Okay, let me share my screen again. I'll go back to it. I didn't want you to miss what she had said. Let me move this down.
Could be theirs.
Okay.
Invite them to find out more.
Can you hear it now?
And interview them to see if you have a good fit. The easiest place to inform people about your business is at the party. After all, everyone came to share in a fun girls' night out, and they're relaxed and having a good time. Begin by telling your why story. Why are you a part of Touchstone Crystal? How is Touchstone improving your life and your lifestyle? And then let them know, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell by looking what keeps you up at night. I don't know if you have big credit card bills or a couple of college tuitions, or maybe you're paying off your own school loans, or perhaps you haven't been on a vacation in a while, or maybe you just need some fun girls' time. Because I can't tell by looking, I'm going to offer each and every one of you the chance to take a look. And then during your question and answer period, listen carefully. Listen for green flags. Listen who's giving you a clue that they might be interested in finding out more. Invite each and every person at your party without prejudging to get some more information. The perfect place to do that is at the order table. And you can personalize your invitation if you've heard something about them that you want to comment on. Perhaps you say something like, I couldn't help but notice that you have a huge wish list. Or I couldn't help but notice that you were terrific at helping people try on the jewelry and figure out what looked good at them. Or I heard you mention that you've got your last one going into college and that you're going to be an empty nester and you're a little worried about that. Or you seemed very intent on studying the catalog. Often that means that somebody is looking at how they could get involved with Touchstone. And follow it up with a simple question. If I give you some information, would you take a look? Some people are going to say, no, thanks, I'm not interested. Others are going to say, sure, I'd be happy to take a look. Make sure that when they say, I'd be happy to take a look, you make an appointment and simply say, well, this isn't the place for us to talk about it. But what seems to work best is if we carve out 10 or 15 minutes to determine if Touchstone would make a good fit for you. Make an appointment right then and there. Just grab your phone or your calendar and say, I typically talk to people at either noontime or 4 o'clock or whatever times work best for you. And make an appointment to talk on the phone. This is not a text conversation. You can confirm by text, but the goal is to actually physically talk on the phone. Once you have agreed on an appointment time, send a text to confirm and include your contact information. I like to say something like, please save my contact information in your phone so when I call, you'll know it's me and you'll be sure to answer. And then whenever your appointment is coming up, confirm the appointment by text. So if it's the next day, in the morning, say, I'm looking forward to talking to you today at whatever time it is, and confirm it just like all the other professionals do. You know, your stylist, your doctor, your dentist, they're all sending these kind of text confirmations. And you can say, type yes to confirm, or call me if you need to change your appointment. Your goal here is to make sure that the person you're going to talk to is actually making an appointment and will keep it with you, because people tend to keep appointments that they've made. Now, the information you're going to give, provide a nibble. Don't overwhelm her with lots of information. Just the opportunity brochure and a catalog are what I suggest. And I like if you put a big Post-it note on the back of the opportunity brochure and write questions on the top and let her know that as she reads through the brochure and looks at the catalog, to write any questions she may have right on this Post-it note. All right, it's time for the interview. And this interview is a get to know each other time. The agenda, to make sure that you see if you have a good fit. So you can begin the appointment by saying something like, thank you for taking a few minutes to talk to me. My goal is to get to know you and find out if Touchstone Crystal is a good fit for you. And then ask, from what you know so far, what appeals to you most? If her answer is something about the income, ask how much income would make a difference for you. If it's travel, because she heard you talk about incentives trips, ask her if she'd like to earn a trip for one or for two, and let her know that the company makes it so simple for new consultants and part-time consultants to earn the trip of a lifetime. Maybe it's fun. Ask her how often she would like to party. And many people will say, I just love the jewelry. At that point, ask, how big is your wish list? I'd love to help you get it all free. Once you've found out what her hot button is, then ask this simple question. From what you know so far, would you like to talk about how Touchstone would fit in your life? Or do you just want to know how to get started? She may have already made up her mind that she'd like to join you. So this question will reveal if she's already decided. If she has questions, answer them honestly and briefly. Most common questions are about time, money, or how she'll book parties. If she responds that she's not sure she has time, let her know. That's part of the very first training. And you can talk about that right now. Ask her to pull out her calendar and say, let's take a look at next week and see if in the week ahead you would have 4 hours or more out of a 168-hour week to be able to work your Touchstone business. She may be thinking that it's a 20, 30, or even 40-hour-a-week job. You can reassure her that in just a few hours a week, she can build a successful business. If it's money, ask her, is she concerned about how she would get the initial investment or how quickly she would earn the money back? Most people are worried about earning the money back because it's less than a $200 investment, including kit costs, tax, shipping, and her own personal website for her first month. You can let her know honestly that most people earn their initial investment back in their very first party. And many people are worried about how they'll get the bookings. Again, let her know that that's part of the first training and tell her you're happy to start that process right now and ask her to just grab a piece of paper and write down some of the groups in her life. Family, friends, neighbors, people from work, activities she's involved in. You don't have to do the whole exercise right now, but let her know she knows more people than she's currently thinking about, and that part of her initial training is to help her figure out how to get those bookings. Now, she may respond, well, how would I get started? Your response to that is, our next step is to create your personal action plan and order your kit. If she wants to get started, ask her if she has a few more minutes to start creating that personal action plan. If she says yes, you can do the LP+4 training with her right away. It'll take 15 to 20 minutes approximately. If she says no, then you're going to make the appointment in the next 24 hours for that LP+4 training. Again, a 15 to 20 minute phone call, and then direct her to your personal website to get her kit on the way. But you know at this point that she is a good fit. Now, if she's not ready to get started, that's fine. and tell her. That's fine. She can take all the time she needs. But this question will often pull out if there's some obstacle she's not telling you about. Just ask, I'm curious, is there something in particular standing in your way of getting started? This will often uncover the hidden card, and you can address her concern with her. If she just needs time to think, again, tell her that's fine, and ask when she would like to talk again. Some people need to just sleep on it. Other people need more thinking time than that. So just make the next appointment with her right then. Remember, this getting to know you process is to find out whether she would like a touchstone business. Little business, big business, either way, that's fine with you. But if all she wants is the jewelry because she thinks the kit is beautiful, which of course it is, let her know she doesn't have to buy a kit to get jewelry that somebody else has picked out. She can be a hostess and get hundreds of dollars of free jewelry with you, jewelry that she picks out in free and deeply discounted products.
The audio stopped again.
Who just really would like to keep on partying with you. I hope you learned a lot from this, and I hope you'll review it a few times and practice it. You're going to get so much better as you practice the opportunity to inform, invite, and interview.
Okay. All right. Are we all back? There we go. Good. Okay. So that was created as a formal way of talking with people at parties, but the basic concepts are super valuable to me. And so I wanted to ask you 2 questions, and you can answer either one or both. What did you like about what you heard? What components did you like that you heard in particular? And what surprised you about her tone, about her messaging, but the way she was going about this? Anybody at all? What did you like about it? Or what surprised you?
I actually like the fact that she's got a system.
Okay.
Because I like systems.
Okay. She had a system.
And when I have something like that, I'm able to focus much more.
Okay. What did you feel like the system was?
That she went into it knowing what she was going to say, how she was going to approach people, and be ready for what their responses were.
Okay.
I think a lot of times we go in there and you get on a conversation, but she was open, like talking about being open to, the crystal ball, and, it really does fit each of us differently. Mm-hmm. And that's what we need to be open to, not that other people are going to want the same things we want out of it.
Right. Nice. That's really neat. Gigi said she wasn't pushy at all. Very inviting in her approach. Annie
yes, I don't like to be pushy.
Right. Annie said she liked the reminder texts. Yeah. Great. Who else? She made it seem not scary. Good. I'm so glad. So what was it about the way she was doing this that made it not scary? Can you put your finger on it?
I think for me, I think it's that she, I liked how she asked the questions like, if you're ready or not ready, well, then when can I call you again? Like she never like said no, or she always left it open. So it didn't seem like, you know, like you're getting a no, which is, that's the scary thing we're always afraid of, getting the no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Her tone. What was it? So, and Amy just said her tone. What is it about her tone?
Sorry, I'm back.
Okay,
I
that's
think
fine.
because she eating dinner at the same time. I
Good.
think because she kept it quiet and soft, and
Uh-huh.
you know, there's a way about Lynn in general. I mean, if you ever hear her talk about anything,
Yeah.
there's a way about her in general. But I think,
Right.
you know, just the way she presents it is, it's like you're talking to a friend. It's not like you're you're not talking to a salesperson. You're talking
Right.
to a friend. You're talking to a real person.
Right.
And I think that makes a difference because, you know, I know for me that's, you know, a conversation that I have with people is I am not a salesperson. I am not here to sell you anything.
Exactly.
And Lynn, you know, very much comes across that way. She is not
Mhm.
here to sell you anything. She is here to, you know, encourage you and be your friend. And I think that comes across in her tone.
That's beautifully said. And did you notice that her goal, her overarching goal in the whole conversation was to see if this is a good fit for you or not? That's it. As opposed to, who was it that said had just gotten another email? I know you want to do this, you know, rah, rah, let's do it. Come on, let's go. As opposed to, let's see if this is a good fit for you. Totally different, right? So I want you to have permission that that can be your approach also, that it can be the sense of, is this a good fit for you? And then the cool thing is that then it's not a question of, do I have the right words to talk her into it? Because I've had that so many times. People said, I don't know if I have the right words to talk her into it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope you don't. I really hope you don't. Because that's the last thing we want. What we want to do is have that friendly conversation, calm conversation to see if this is right for her or not. That's all we care about. We don't know. We don't have, and I'll say to people, I don't have a crystal ball. So I have no idea who wants or needs what it is that I have. But is it okay if I send some information home with you? Or is it okay if I flip some information to you by text about our business kit? And that's it, right? Who else? Oh, she was confident, right? Confident in what she knew, what she was going to say. Made it seem easy, no pressure. Anybody else? Anything else surprise you? Or were there any components in particular that you really want to hold on to from this? Anything in particular? Amy, if you're trying to talk, you're actually on mute, but maybe you meant to be on mute. Okay. Was there anybody else? So one of the keys in all of this, notice, was the bridge. She created a bridge between whatever else she was talking about with that customer and bringing up the topic of the business. Notice she was not waiting for that customer to bring it up. She brought it up. And so the key is to figure out what are the words that you will intentionally use to bring it up with people. It's going to be different for everybody. For me, it's different in different situations. It might be that I have built a really good rapport with this person and she's chatty and we're talking about the jewelry. And I might just say something like, you know, you might really like doing what I do because you're so engrossed in this jewelry. Do you want me to flip you what the starter kit looks like? And then I shut up and listen to see what she says. Because all I want to do is flip her the starter kit and get her to tell me how she feels about that. When we were doing live in-person parties, I was getting into the habit, I think Lori Downey was doing the same thing, where we had business opportunity brochures and we would say, I don't have a crystal, as I mentioned before, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know who would have fun doing what I do or not, but I'd love to offer information for all of my guests to take home with them. Would you like to take this with you? And she can see that it's business opportunity. And if she takes it, then I start in on the, why don't we chat tomorrow sometime? Do you have a couple minutes, right? In this case, we're not always live anymore in person. And so we have to find other ways of bringing it up in the moment. So each one of you, if this is a goal of yours, getting to the 40% in 40, it's going to take quickly figuring out that a priority in every customer conversation is, how do I bring this up? What are the words that I feel comfortable with? Now that I know I don't have to pressure anybody into anything, now that I know I don't have to sound salesy or be inauthentic, and now that I know all I'm trying to do is see if this might be a good fit, what are the words that I'm going to use with my next customer conversation tomorrow, just to see, not waiting for her to tell me that she's interested, but for me to bring it up in the first place. The really important component, as I said in the beginning, is it's not about me, it's all about her. Lynn Conway has taught us all about chip clips. So this is my chip clip. We did our leader retreat last weekend. I gave everybody a chip clip. And on the chip clip, it normally says, well, I put mine somewhere else. I just reorganized my office. I have an original one. And it says, WAIT, why am I talking? And the reminder is, I need to be asking more questions than talking. I want her to talk. I want to get her to say, why would she be interested in Touchstone Crystal? What would be fun about this for her? And if she has hesitations, what would she do about them? If she says, well, I'm just really busy. Yeah, you honestly really are super busy. How would you find time to do it? I would be asking her that question, right? Because why am I talking? I want her talking. I don't want to try to give her the answers. The second one has to do with, it's all about her, it's not about me, is FAYC. FAYC, forget about yourself completely. Because it's not about me, it's about her. So forget about yourself completely. I don't care if I sign her. I care about her, number one, finding out if this is a good fit. And so I'm forgetting about myself completely, my own needs, my own desire to hit, whatever my level is. It's about whether this is a good fit for her. So WAIT, why am I talking? And FAYC, forget about yourself completely. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, because we're just about done, is what tools that we have available to us to put all this into action. So let's say you start coming up with people that you would just love to have working with you in this. We offer, and maybe you've had a conversation, maybe you haven't yet, and that's okay. But there are 3 times every week that you can invite people to take a look at Touchstone Crystal without you being the one to present it. Monday nights, except for tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern, our team offers a meet and greet Touchstone Crystal for 30 minutes. Anybody that you want to invite can hop on. Usually it's me on there, and I'm very soft and I'm just very all about them. And I want to know, what brings you here? What would be fun about this for you? And then I go through a business opportunity, just the fun, quick and dirty 10-minute, information, so that they kind of get the story about Touchstone. And there's no pressure. I mean, it's me, so I don't do pressure. They can come on Monday nights at 7 on Zoom, right here on the same Zoom link. Wednesday nights, you might like this better. Every Wednesday night, fall in love with Touchstone Crystal. If you haven't seen this, let me show this to you. We created a Facebook group in the first day of September. And let's see, let me share. Okay. Share groups. Still getting used to this new Facebook thing. All right, fall in love with TCS. It's very slow tonight. Here we go. All right, fall in love with TCS. Here's what it looks like. Oopsie. This is what it looks like. And it's something that you can invite. It's a public group. You can invite your potential team members to this, because all week long I'm posting fun things. And then on Wednesday nights at 8:30, we start posting. We have a whole series of 10 posts that we do over about 35 minutes. And then I go live at the end. And we're having some very good success with this. And so it's something very low key, not threatening. It's kind of fun. Thank you to all the consultants who are on every week to help drive this, because your comments are really making a difference too. Because some of it is consultant comments as well as guest comments. So you can invite people to fall in love with TCS as well. And then on Thursdays at 1 o'clock, the company offers a Zoom. And so you have 3 different things that you can be using as tools to invite people to. It might be that the easiest one for you might be the TCS, fall in love with TCS, or maybe the Monday night at 7 that you know that I do. So those are some of the tools that you have available to you. My recommendation, first thing, come up with what are the words that I can comfortably use when I'm talking to my customers starting tomorrow. Second, what are the words that I can use when I'm following up with my customers from October to see how they like their jewelry? How can I bring it up? What is it that I want to say proactively, right? Because in doing so, you're going to uncover some interest and some curiosity. And then take Lynn's tone. Is it a good fit? I don't have the responsibility of talking them into anything. It's just, we're just going to try to have a conversation and see if it might be a good fit and ask questions about why she might be curious. The last thing I wanted to point out, Lynn talked about, then you set up the training call and then you do this training with them. I don't want you to worry with that. When you get to where you have someone who is genuinely interested, tell your upline leader what her name is, a little bit of the background, and then you and she combined can work with that potential team member to help get her started if and when she's ready, okay? So that way, it's not on you. It's not on you. I don't want you to feel that pressure. Okay, so that wraps it up. What last questions do we have? And also, what is your biggest takeaway from this little program that we've done? I'd love to hear your biggest takeaway too.
I have a question. Where do you find the information on the company call?
Good question. I think they usually post it on the Touchstone Crystal forward-facing Facebook page. I think they post it every Thursday morning, the actual link. So if you scroll back down through the TC, I think it's just Touchstone Crystal official group or whatever they call it. If you go back to last Thursday, you'll see the posting and the listing.
Okay.
That's where I have found it in the past, has been on Facebook, on social media. I think they do it on their Instagram also. And it's the same every Thursday, the same Zoom link.
Okay.
Okay. Great question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, chip clip. Carrie says she likes, yes, I know Carrie likes the chip clip. Who else? Who has an aha or a question that you'd like to share? What jumped out at you? Well, hopefully you got something good out of it. Feel free to post in the chat before you go. And I hope this was helpful. I hope it was good information and that it gets you closer to that 40 and 40. This is the time of the year when you're going to be meeting so many people, and a lot of them are going to be really curious about what you do and how you do it. Don't be afraid to ask good questions of them too. Okay. All right. Thanks, ladies. Great to see all of your faces. I hope you have a wonderful week. And there's Carrie Hertland's cat. I told you the hairless cat was going to make an appearance. Happens every time we get Carrie on the call. All right, ladies, have a great night and thanks again. Appreciate you.
Betsey.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.